Reflections of My Life by The Marmalade, 1969. Welcome everybody. How is everybody today? We'll wait for a few more people joining us. Unfortunately, I can't play the music for very long. I've been told off by many people. So thank you all for pulling me up on sharing good vibrations and Facebook threatening to close me down. So lots of learnings. Over 8 days we've been together. How fabulous for me. I hope that some of you have had some benefits. And today's topic is reflections. So who's new here? Just pop in the chat box where you're from, and let's see what's going on with everybody out there. And perhaps while we're waiting, in fact, let's just do some heart math for those of you that have been with me already, and those of you who are new, just pop in where you're from around the world to see where everybody is. And I invite you to put your finger on the triple warmer, which is between your ring finger and your pinky finger, placing your hand on your heart, or your heart on your hand. That'd be a bit scary. And simply breathe to the count of 6 in through your nose. 2, 4, 6. Exhaling. 2, 4, 6. So all my regulars are turning up. In through the nose. 4, 6. Exhaling through the mouth. 2, 4, 6. So as people are joining us, I had to write down what topics we've covered. Memory of a gnat. So on the first day we covered collective tapping. On the second day it was money and lack. I think we're missing one actually. We've got cravings. Oh no, I just can't count. On the third day we had cravings. On the fourth day, tiredness. On the fifth day, trapped and feeling powerless. Yesterday was about forgiveness. So I would invite you all to take a moment and reflect on what's been the biggest challenge for you, and pop it in the chat box, and what other challenges you've had come up. And as you do that, if you give me permission, I'm going to read a poem. Now, I'm Scottish, my accent isn't great, so bear with me. So this poem is from a book called Eternal Echoes, Exploring Our Hunger even, to Belong by John O'Donoghue, an Irish gentleman. So as you're popping in, what has been the biggest challenges for you? Let's just share them as I read this poem out. Somewhere out at the edges, the night is turning and the waves of darkness begin to brighten the shore of dawn. The heavy dark falls back to earth and the freed air goes wild with light. The heart fills with fresh, bright breath and thoughts stir to give birth to colour. I arise today in the name of silence, womb of the word, in the name of stillness, home of belonging, in the name of solitude, of the soul and the earth. I arise today, blessed by all things, wings of breath, delight of eyes, wonder of whisper, intimacy of touch, eternity of soul, urgency of thought, miracle of health, embrace of God. May I live this day. Compassionate of heart, gentle in word, gracious in awareness, courageous in thought, generous in love. So, biggest challenges coming up is freedom and boundaries. And how many of you are actually revisiting My Lives to tap along with that collective? So that freedom and boundaries is particularly constant. Let's start tapping. So even though on reflection, I still have challenges, and that's okay because I'm a human being. And perhaps today's challenges will change tomorrow, or the day after, or the week after, or the month after, or the year after. Today I choose to accept where I am at the moment, and we're all in this together. So even though, and put your own words in, I'm challenging from a full-time hands-on business to zero income, I acknowledge I'm not the only one. A lot of us are in the same boat, from having everything to losing everything. And today I choose to accept where I am. So even though I'm feeling listless, it's hard to focus, police state has been triggering me, these challenges are daily. And I know that this too will pass. However, it's challenging for me right now, right this moment. However, I'm grateful because I'm waking up every morning. What's coming up for you guys? Pop in the chat box. All these perceptions, those feelings, reflecting. All those feelings, where are you feeling those in your body? What's coming up? What's coming up for you in your body? We're all in our heads. All of those feelings that we've just said are all here. What happens if we moved into our body? Stop becoming human doings. Become human beings. What are you feeling in your body for me saying that? Extra pressure to get stuff out there to support. All these resources I'm endeavouring. Is it only your job to do that? Or can we come together as a community like we've done in the past few days? What's happening with you? Having 2 of my 3 business go from prosperous to zero. This is quite common. We're not, when I lost my millions, I felt that I was so isolated and on my own. And now we're in a collective. We're collectively losing things, losing our finances, losing our loved ones that are far away. Everyone, or a lot of us, and the majority of us, don't have an income anymore. So perhaps we can pull together for resourcing each other. And for what reason has suddenly everybody stopped? There's still a lot of money out there. Where is all that money? Remember, go back to my tap-alongs on finances. Tune in that. Yesterday I felt completely overwhelmed. Maybe as so many things have been triggering in those wonderful tapping events, yet not fully looked at or resolved. So those of you that are tappers, I created for EFTMRA an online swap group. Now is the time to reach out. There's over 3,000, I think, tappers, professional tappers that have done the workshop, that now we can come together and swap and support each other and really look at these triggers. These half-an-hour things have just simply been to resource us on the tip of the iceberg. But these, as we've talked about and reflected on, these things that are coming up for us are deeply buried, oppressed traumas and Yudins, unexpected, dramatic, isolating events that we've had no strategy. Yudin, unexpected, dramatic, isolating, we feel on our own. N, no strategy, we felt that we've no strategy. So perhaps now is the time for us to really relook at our strategies and how we can, we've been doing, and it's not been serving us. So what's not been serving you? Throat's blocked, feeling the throat's blocked. It's been helpful tapping for a good time with everybody else. What is not serving you in your life anymore? I had to tap a lot. I sent out a letter to all my clients saying that for the moment I won't be doing one-to-one unless my extreme vulnerable clients, and I would be pausing and either refunding them their money or offering them to work with another one of my practitioners. That was masses to me. I had to tap so much and reflect on that. Do I think I'm the only person in the world to help? Was that my ego stepping in the way? Where did I feel that? In my body. I felt it in my heart. But I'm not serving people on a one-to-one basis anymore. My heart is opening up, and my purpose now is to serve the larger community, to bring us all together in workshops and sharings. Nicola said I couldn't get on. Darling, it's 1 o'clock. It's on a daily 1 o'clock. So I'm not very sure what your question is. It's on a daily 1 o'clock. We're British summertime now. Our clocks changed, went forward on Sunday. So what's coming up for you guys? Can we just take a moment to reflect? Put our hands back in our heart and reflect and really be truthful with us. What is not serving us anymore? What is not serving us anymore? Let's just pop in the chat box. I'm holding on to unfinished business. And now perhaps we can reflect that we have a choice. The unfinished business, we can either reflect on it, accept it, investigate it, and nurture ourselves, Tara Brach's RAIN. Or do we simply let that unfinished business go, accept that we will never finish this book, ever, close it, let it go? So even though some people are saying that they had a challenge, so refresh your button, you may have to start again. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of the streaming, it's at your end, so make sure your other tabs are turned on and it's simply Facebook that's open. All this remaining self-doubt isn't serving you. No, all that self-doubt. So we're talking about forgiveness yesterday and judgment. Is it time to forgive ourselves and purely reflect on that self-doubt? It's not releasing us. It's not serving us. So perhaps it's time to release it. Again, with that Kaizen approach, step by step. So even though this blah blah is not serving me anymore, perhaps I can choose to either close that book or investigate. Now I have the choice. How did it feel? Now I have the choice. And perhaps today I can acknowledge that that's where I am in my life, and that's okay. All this self-doubt, holding space, resources, feeling overwhelmed, unfinished business. What's going on in your body? Feeling it in your throat, feeling it in your heart. What's happening? What's happening in your body? Tune into your body. Truly embody that feeling. So many of us in the tapping world go, oh, you're feeling angry. Even though I'm feeling angry, let's tap that away. What happens if we actually sat in and really leaned into that feeling, leaned into that anger, leaned into that feeling of grief? Do check in. Remember right at the beginning, we started off with collective tapping. Is it a collective feeling we're feeling, or is it ours? Tap on that. Release those that are not yours. Have you picked it up from your beautiful family? My family are like little boxes of gifts. They look so pretty, and you unwrap them, poof, and woof, out comes a trigger, like a jack in the box. Thank you. Now I have a choice. Do I put the jack back in the box, or do I really let him out? and explore and feel where that is. Let's go back to where did it come from. It's still about me wanting to take control. And that's a survival mechanism, is it? We're all human beings. Some of us may think we're aliens because we don't fit in, but this is about belonging. And the more that we feel safe in belonging, the more that we can step out of that control. Because it's a really interesting thing, isn't it? About, and I know a lot about control because I was Miss Control Freak. I had to do it on my own. All that control, all that control. I wanted to be in control because what would happen to me if I was out of control? And I thought that I was in control of my whole life, and I wasn't. I didn't have the foresight to see this was coming. Even though seemingly Dean Koontz told us in 1983 or whatever, and Sylvia Browne wrote about it, or did she? Because not a lot of the other things have come true, but people like to think that other people know because it makes us feel safe as a collective, that other people know better than us. And when we think that other people know better than us, we're putting them on a pedestal and we're putting ourselves in the pit. We don't know. And knowledge is power. I'm not taking that away. But what do we know? We know ourselves better than anyone else in the world. So when I'm working with clients, I'm asking them about them and about their disease, because they'll have researched and know about their disease, what their thoughts are, what's triggering them, than me. I don't know them. I'm not psychic. All those feelings in my throat, all that sadness, is it your sadness? Tap through these. All this sadness, those feelings. I feel like I'm divided into hundreds of pieces. So rather than try, simply do or don't. You have a choice. So even though perhaps I can stop trying, it's exhausting, perhaps I will or won't. And we all have pieces. These are called parts, echoes, shadows, whatever you would like to call them. We all give them a different name. And start one at a time, forgiving these parts, these shadows, these echoes, these pieces of us. Because we are all whole. It's a feeling that we are not whole. Hi everyone, so sad today is the last day together. I don't know why I laughed. That's my trigger when I don't know how to respond to something, giggle. All that feeling of sadness. All that feeling of sadness. It's 8 days together. Perhaps it's not the finish. Perhaps if you choose, I can start doing this on a weekly basis. And not only that, we have the tapathon that's running daily with different people, different voices, different perspectives on things. And it started last night with Kate and Carl. And tonight it's with Caroline Rhodes talking about finance at 7 o'clock BST. Bless her, she's in Hong Kong, 4 o'clock in the morning. Bless Caroline Rhodes at getting up 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm her alarm clock to make sure that she doesn't sleep in. Tomorrow is Rob Nelson talking about the uncertainty of the future. All that uncertainty of the future. On the 2nd of April, it's me again, talking and sharing and tapping about fear of symptoms. I don't know who's after me, that's a little surprise. I think on Saturday night it's Susie talking about how to invite people to go forward with EFT. I can let my son be in charge of his own happiness. It's not mind control. I felt that actually, Leslie. It's so funny, I call her Leslie Darling, and that is actually her name. So whenever I speak to her, because you may notice I call people darling, and it's so funny. Yes, Leslie Darling. So I'm actually speaking to her. Yes, Leslie Darling. I'm working through what I need to. I'm going to be more gentle. Oh, how beautiful. That gentleness. I'm going to treat myself as I treat my clients. I'm going to treat myself as I treat my clients. How amazing is that? I can feel that I'm going to treat myself as I treat my friends and my clients. What's happening in your bodies? Tap through that feeling in your bodies. Give it a shape, a colour, a texture. Leslie's laughing at me. Perhaps after all of this was as I am daily meditating and reflecting on my life. Sunita's just popped in, by the way, and saying that she's on the 13th of April. She's talking about binge and emotional eating. I'll definitely be tuning into that one, as don't tell anybody. I've been emotionally eating. I'm too human. I loved it when Carol Luke said that when she was tapping with people, she just started losing weight. And I was thinking, I've tapped every day with everybody, 5 clients a day, and I seem to have put on weight because we're different. Our behaviors are different. We respond differently. So I'll definitely be tuning in with Sunita. Weekly would be fab. Humor, smile and energy is beautiful. Contagious. Yes, I am like a virus. Contagious. What's going on in your body? Janice, the grief expert, I'm so humbled to have ever met Janice in my life. She's talking about loss and sharing how to go through loss, because we're having lots of losses. She's on the 5th of April. Sunita is giving me a permission, I think. It's good to sometimes eat emotionally. We're human. Yeah, that's okay. Yesterday, my calendar was so full. I don't know why. I didn't actually give myself space. Normally I give myself space, half an hour between sessions, and I didn't. So how inauthentic was I? I was having a sneaky Snickers bar in between. Ooh, naughty Penny. Snickers don't tend to get dehydrated and frazzle up. Imelda's saying it's stomach. Things are coming up in the stomach. Time to release this feeling of responsibility for so many other people. Let's reflect on that. What else is coming up for us? What else is coming up for us? We're all human. Feel into our hearts. Is it ours or is it others? Release it. I'm reflecting on that my life. I'm going to choose to live differently. I've been saying this for many years. Now it's time for us to choose to live differently. Perhaps the Amazon is not so important to me anymore. Perhaps, and this is massive for me, and I'm sharing with you guys today that what is really important for me today is building the community. So this, although I did this thinking it was for you guys, it was all about me, to build that community so that we can build that support and reach out to each other. It's not my responsibility for you guys. Perhaps it's time for each of us to take that step back, hand on heart. Speculate on our own doings and actions and how we can slowly start to change, one step at a time. Remember that Kaizen, one step at a time, slowly, slowly, while nurturing and showing kindness and compassion for ourselves. It's always helpful to tap in a group, feeling supported by lovely groups. Where are you feeling that in your body? And for those that are joining, we're talking about reflections. I played a song right at the beginning, Reflections of Life by The Marmalade, 1969. I read a poem by John Donahue. You see how bad my memory is. If I don't have it in front of me or I've read it on Kindle, I can't forget. I can't remember the author or the name. The ice is melting in my chest. We are one. We are the matrix. Some people are behaving in a way because they're stuck in their reptilian brain. And that's okay. And if we can forgive them and release them, the stronger and more resilient we will become. What else is going on for people? What would you like to slowly change? Not massively. We're not going to, if you want to be an astronaut, you don't do a one-day online course for $29 and fly off to the moon. Imelda's saying it really struck me, Leslie, a relief almost. I could cry. And tears are not a sign of weakness. They're a sign of beautiful vulnerability, and we need that vulnerability before we step into our courageousness. And when we're truly vulnerable and we're speaking our truth, people will come to us on that same frequency and the same vibration even. I'm making up words. Is that a word? Vibrancy? Yes. Who knows? Don't care. What else is coming up for you? What reflections that you can see that are not serving you anymore? What has changed even in the last 8 days? That 8 days I chose, do you remember I said this? It's the infinity symbol, resting. You know, that sympathetic, parasympathetic, sympathetic, parasympathetic. That's way of life. Yin, yang, feminine, masculine. We all have feminine, masculine energies. Settling into my back rather than being all forward, no longer trying to control with logic. So where are we coming? You know, having to do and doing, being that doing is from our medulla. And it's a verb. It's all about our muscles and our blood and our self-worth. We have to keep on doing. We have to do. We have to push through. Push. No. No. And so many of us are in that pull-push. Pull-push. So rather than pulling and pushing, what else can we do? Riding that wave. Sympathetic during the day, parasympathetic at night. Taking a step back. Reflecting. Where is that coming up? So all of these things are coming up. I choose to forgive myself. Yesterday after my shambles of an interview. Perhaps it's time to start being gentle and treat myself as I do others. I've had to get comfortable with going online to groups of people that I don't know. What else is going on in your body? Let's start embodying these feelings, those losses of our businesses being taken away. We've survived. How can we survive the next day? We don't know what's happening the next day. We don't know what the health chancellor, who I'm coming from a bit of judgment in the UK, our health chancellor doesn't look very healthy. He's telling us things. Please don't do this. You must exterminate. Oh no, he doesn't do that. I'm getting confused with Doctor Who and our health chancellor. I'm teasing. Let's switch off the news. Let's stop listening. Do you know how many people survived this coronavirus? Because we're not being told. Hundreds of thousands are surviving. And we together as a collective can come together and support us. So maybe now is the time to go back when our little businesses are open. Support the little businesses. Support the local shops. Support the local people. Come away from the big guys. Let's support each other, because with the little people, if you've seen what ants can do, they are so much more powerful than even a bulldozer. Have you seen these termite mountains? So if the little people can come together and support each other and barter with each other and share and trade and give each other that worth, and we can forgive and love, this is where the changes can start from. And Fiona, I totally agree. Many will die and will continue to die from fear of the loss of survival, the fear of being grounded, lockdowns, the fear. How many people, Jamie Cato put on Facebook the other day, stats of how many people die of hunger every year compared to the stats of the virus. And then the fear people came in and went, yes, but you don't understand. Viruses are contagious. So is hunger. When you have no food and your families have no food and you have no way to grow that food or buy that food, that is contagious. Where were we then? So let's bring together and forgive ourselves for the past and move forward inch by inch, Kaizen, Japanese way, step by step. Becky's saying, I've had the symptoms, so I suppose I've had it. I've survived. Fear is contagious. So I can't remember exactly, because you know what my memory is like, but Greg Braden even tells exactly how many we need to raise that vibration. I think it's 1% of 8,000. What happens if we raise the vibration 1% of 8,000 every day and we come together as a collective? And we know science has proven that gratitude can raise our vibration. And it's challenging. It's challenging to feel gratitude. And I've been there. I've been living in a hovel, lost all my money. Nobody knew. I had nothing, no hot water, no money to buy food. And yet, and I wanted to blame somebody, and the only person I could blame was myself. Now is the time to stop blaming ourselves or other. Yes, take accountability, but now let's tap into all of that feeling and bring gratitude and reflect on how we can change just one step at a time. How can we change that? Love is contagious. And I tell you one thing, that the opposite of love is not hate. It is indifference. And if we sit in our houses and pretend that these things are not happening and or look the other way, we will never change. And that's okay if you want to do that. I'm not judging you. But now this whole global event, that's all I can call it, because I have my own beliefs about viruses, and a virus is merely made up of RNA strands of protein that can be dissolved. But perhaps we can look at them like soap that are cleaning our systems. If we are in fear, we will be susceptible to those viruses. What brought up for that? You. And fear, Darrell says, stay away from it, but fear is part of us. And it's part of our intelligence to feel fearful at times. But it's when we do this. That's not helpful. Because we go into that fight, flight, or freeze. And we start becoming keyboard warriors, telling people that they're old, that you're fat, that I'm a danger, that I shouldn't be playing tunes that are on YouTube, that are free on my YouTube, my Facebook channel, or whatever you call this. Who cares? Let's come together. How can we support each other? And yes, we need fear to navigate, because there might be a cliff off to the edge. But if we have somebody that we're following and they're in fear, they're more likely to fall off the edge, and we'll follow them. So today was a reflection that's turned into me a little bit of a rant. Tap on that. Rosalba's saying, actually, I'm realizing I'm very angry with myself because I left London and back to Italy. I feel I never forgive myself. Is it time, Rosalba? Perhaps I'll choose to come to Italy. It's been one of my dreams to open a retreat in Italy, and yet I've put barriers up there. And now I have a little pussycat and I refuse to vaccinate her, so that if I leave and I come back, what do I do with her? So I love my home at the moment. I love living in London. But one day I'll live by the seaside. And maybe that one day will be this year, because I've been saying it for a long time. What have you been saying for a long time over your life? Now perhaps it's time to start preparing. Yeah, I think, Rosalba, I think you might have the makings of a little holiday camp retreat for all of us to come. And are you still living in Santorini? Is it Santorini you live in? I can't remember. One of my favourite places. Might be Sicily. Both begin with an S. So what's coming up for you as Penny's ranting? So even though Penny's turned this into a bit of a rant rather than a reflection, both began with ours. However, today perhaps I can start to choose, to start forgiving myself. I can choose. I can't choose. I can choose. I've washed my hands, I can tap on my face. I can choose. I can't choose. I can, I can't, I can, I can't. Yeah, maybe Italy will have a vast insurge, because your lands will be clear. And I'm not talking about population, guys, that's not what I meant. So what's happening here? Is it time to forgive yourself, to forgive others? Is it time to reflect on our behaviours and when we've made mistakes in the past, and prepare ourselves for the future? Because now what this is doing, this global event, is opening a space for us to take a step back, pause. What's going on in our body? Reflect. Are we stuck in that hamster wheel? We keep on creating the same dramas, the same dramas. Yeah. I think the flights will be sold out to Italy. What else is coming up for you? And can we all just put in the chat box one thing that you're grateful for today? Putting hands on our hearts. I feel butterflies in my stomach, thinking how grateful I am to be part of this amazing tapping community. I feel grateful for those of you that have turned up day in, day out to hear me, to tap with me, to hold that space. The internet, grateful for the internet. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what would have happened years ago? I remember being an estate agent, and the internet had just come to the businesses and Facebook, and I used to sit there for hours to work it out. Being on this call, the sunshine, the beach. Oh, Izzy, the beach, you live 5 minutes down the road, and this is a wonderful group. This community and internet. Time out from family politics. Beautiful. Love to you all. And I'm going to play for a very short time, because I will get banned, one of my favourite Michael Jackson songs, which is really interesting because it's the only song that he did not write. And I love this song, and it is Man in the Mirror. And I'll just play a little bit of it because I will get banned again. Notice the first line. Gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good. Gonna make a difference. Gonna make it right. And that's all I'm allowed to play. So I will put, as I do every day, the songs that I play on this tapathon on the Facebook group. And I'd really like to hear from you if you wish me to continue on a weekly basis. Remember, tonight is Caroline Rhodes on finance in the tapathon, and I will put another link on this Facebook Live. Please join in, guys, because when we create that small change, it will ripple effect. It could be like the butterfly effect. And I really want to thank each and every one of you for turning up daily, promptly, with all the love and gratitude in your hearts. I love you all. You are where I belong. Thank you so much.